Welcome to The Explainer. So, you think you're a good driver, right? Well, today, we're going to look at driving in a totally new way. Not just as a skill, but as a full-on strategy. We're about to decode some of the hidden hazards, the ones that are literally built right into the roads we travel every single day.
And you know, this quote from our source material just hits the nail on the head. It's about the art of war, stuff you don't learn in business school, and you definitely don't learn in driver's ed. Because the most dangerous situations out there, they're not always about someone breaking a rule. Nah, it's about physics, geometry, and pure strategy.
So, let me ask you, are you really prepared for a battle with the road itself? Because sometimes that's exactly what it is. The biggest threat out there might not be that other driver you're worried about. It could be the very design of the road you're on. We're talking its curves, its sneaky blind spots, and its crazy intersections.
All right, here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the driver's art of war concept. Then we'll break down 4 specific high-risk scenarios. We're calling them tackles. We've got the double sword curve, the T intersection trap, the 330 blind spot, and the S intersection squeeze. And once we figure those out, we'll build your very own defensive playbook. Let's get into it.
All right, Section 1, the driver's art of war. Think of this as moving beyond basic training. We're graduating from stop at the red light and learning to think like a chess master, a strategist, every time you get behind the wheel.
You know, it's so easy to just blame the other guy, right? But the real opponent, the one we often miss, is the road's geometry. It's the curves, the interceptions, the blind spots. The real challenge is learning to see how the road itself is setting the stage for a collision. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to deconstruct these scenarios one by one and see exactly how they work.
Okay, on to our first big tackle, the double sword curve. This one's all about when the road itself seems to fight back. We're talking about a type of winding road that looks totally normal, but it's deceptively dangerous, and a lot of us drive on these without ever realizing the trap that's being set.
So first, let's define the battlefield here. We're looking at an S-median banked curve. Now, a banked curve is actually designed to help you. You know that feeling when the road tilts inward on a turn? That's physics pulling you through safely. But here's the twist. That very same helpful design can create a really unique and really dangerous trap.
Okay, so check out this setup. You've got a car taking the tight inside path on this S-curve. And then you have a motorcycle trying a high-speed overtake on the wider outer path. The key thing here is that at the start of this curve, both drivers feel totally in control. Everything seems fine, right? Just a normal day on the road.
But here's where it all goes wrong. This is the banking effect. As both vehicles reach the very apex of that S, the road's own banking takes over. That inward tilt, it forces the car and the motorcycle toward the inside of the turn. They're 2 separate paths. Suddenly, they're being forced to converge into a single collision point. The road is literally funneling them together.
And that's the core hazard. The road's banking forces 2 totally separate paths into one inevitable collision course. The road stops being just a passive surface you drive on. It becomes an active player in the accident, pushing these 2 vehicles together whether they like it or not.
All right, let's switch gears to our second tackle, the T intersection trap. This is a classic city or suburban problem. We're talking a 3-way conflict of visibility, where the environment itself creates the danger, turning what looks like a simple intersection into a really complex trap.
So what's the environment here? Imagine the narrow T intersection, maybe on a quiet side street. The real problem isn't the T shape itself, it's the buildings, walls, or even hedges on both sides. They're built right up to the road, creating these huge blind spots for every single driver involved. Visibility is practically zero. So let's break this down. You've got 3 vehicles. Vehicle B going straight across the top of the T is more or less okay. But the real conflict is between Vehicle A and Vehicle C. Vehicle A is turning right from the bottom of the T, at the exact same time Vehicle C is turning left across the top. The hazard? Vehicle A is completely in C's blind spot, and C is in A's blind spot. They are on a direct collision course and have absolutely no idea.
So here's the core hazard. Those buildings create blind spots that completely hide these conflicting turn paths. It leads to right-of-way confusion, sure, but more than that, it makes a collision almost inevitable. Even if everyone is trying to be a good driver and follow the rules, the poor visibility from the environment trumps everything.
Okay, tackle number 3. This one's called the 330 blind spot, and it's all about the danger you literally never see coming. This is a super common one, especially when you've got cars and more nimble vehicles like motorcycles sharing the road.
So what do we mean by the 330 direction? It's a great analogy. Just picture yourself sitting in your car at the center of a clock face. 12 o'clock is straight ahead. The danger here isn't from 12 or 6 behind you. It's from the 330 position, that area just over your right shoulder. It's deep in your car's right side blind spot, a notoriously difficult area to keep an eye on.
And this really is a tale of two completely different mindsets. The car driver is doing everything right? Their focus is forward, they're navigating a curve, managing their speed and steering. It's a predictable task. But then you have the motorcyclist's action, a sudden, unpredictable merge. Maybe they're lane splitting or filtering, and they're doing it from that killer 330 blind spot.
And that's the core hazard here. A driver's completely necessary forward focus while they're turning makes them incredibly vulnerable to these unpredictable merges from their blind spot. The very act of concentrating on driving safely creates the perfect opening for a disaster you just don't see coming.
All right, here we go, our final case study. Tackle number 4, the S intersection squeeze. This is a masterclass in mayhem. It's all about how a really weird, non-standard road design can create absolute chaos and target a driver who is completely unsuspecting.
So what on earth is an S intersection? Yeah, it's not your standard crossroads. It's this bizarre layout where opposing lanes actually follow an S-shaped curve through the intersection. This means merges happen at these strange, diagonal, non-perpendicular angles. It completely changes how drivers see each other and how they're supposed to join the flow of traffic. It's just confusing.
And this is why the person just driving straight in the main lane becomes the target. It's not just one thing going wrong. It's a whole cascade of failures. First, you have two different vehicles trying to merge diagonally at the exact same time. That S-curve is already reducing visibility for everyone. Now, those merging drivers, they're laser-focused on finding a gap in traffic, not on each other. Add in the high closing speed from the main lane and your reaction time just evaporates. For the main lane driver, there's just no viable escape route.
So here's the crazy core hazard. You have two simultaneous conflicting merges from a low-visibility S-curve that effectively trap the main lane vehicle. And that's the ultimate irony, isn't it? The one driver who's doing everything right, the one who legally has the right of way, becomes the primary target, completely boxed in by the chaos created by the road's terrible design.
Okay, so we've seen all these traps. It's a little scary, right? Well, now let's get to the good part, our final section, your defensive playbook. Let's turn all this analysis into action you can actually use on the road.
So here are the core principles for survival. And listen, these are not just tips. This is a whole new mindset. First, read the road's geometry. Don't just see the road. Actually analyze its banking, its curves, its angles. Second, master your blind spots. Actively look for threats where you know you're most vulnerable, especially when you're turning. Third, anticipate conflicting paths. Look ahead for situations where you can see multiple cars are going to be forced to fight for the same piece of asphalt. Fourth, respect closing speed. You have to understand that speed just obliterates the time you have to react to something unexpected. And finally, the big one, always have an escape route. Constantly be asking yourself, if something goes wrong right now, where can I go? This is how you stop being a reactive driver and become a truly strategic one.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Which of these road tackles, which of these traps is hidden on your daily commute? Because now you know what to look for. And honestly, recognizing that hazard is the first and the most critical step to making sure you can defeat it every single time.